Job, a man of unwavering faith and profound righteousness, lived in the ancient land of Uz, known not only for his immense wealth and influence, but for his deep reverence for God. A man who feared the Almighty and turned away from evil. A man whose prosperity and piety were evident in his daily life. For he had been blessed with 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, 500 yoke of oxen, and 500 donkeys, along with countless servants and a loving family of 10 children, 7 sons and 3 daughters, whom he cherished dearly, so much so that after their feasts, Job would rise early in the morning to offer burnt offerings for each of them, fearing that they might have sinned in their hearts, displaying a level of devotion unparalleled among men. Yet despite his faithfulness, an unseen battle between the forces of good and evil would soon unfold in the heavenly courts, where Satan, the adversary, stood before God and issued a challenge, arguing that Job's righteousness was conditional, that he was faithful only because of the blessings surrounding him, that if everything were stripped away, he would surely curse God. And so God allowed Satan to test Job, granting him power over all that he owned, but forbidding him from harming Job's life. And so in a single day, calamity struck like a raging storm. As messengers arrived one after another with dreadful news, the first proclaiming that Sabean raiders had attacked and stolen Job's oxen and donkeys, slaughtering the servants, while another came rushing in to say that fire from the heavens had consumed all of Job's sheep and the shepherds. And before Job could even process the tragedy, yet another herald brought news that Chaldean invaders had stolen his camels. But the final, most devastating blow came when a servant, trembling and grief-stricken, reported that a mighty wind had collapsed the house where Job's children were feasting, killing them all in an instant. And as the weight of unfathomable loss pressed upon his soul, Job tore his robes, shaved his head, fell to the ground, and worshipped, declaring words that would echo throughout time. The Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Yet Satan was not satisfied, for Job had not cursed God as he had expected. And so the adversary returned to the heavenly court, requesting permission to afflict Job's very flesh, arguing that a man will give everything to save his own life. And thus God allowed Satan to strike Job's body with painful boils from head to toe, a suffering so intense that he scraped his sores with a broken piece of pottery as he sat among the ashes. His once great stature reduced to a shadow of agony, his pain so severe that even his wife, overcome with despair, urged him to curse God and die. Yet Job rebuked her, speaking with steadfast resolve. Shall we accept good from God and not trouble? And still, in all his suffering, Job did not sin with his lips. But soon his agony was compounded when 3 of his closest friends, Eliphaz, Bildad, and Zophar, came to visit him, and upon seeing his disfigured state, they were so overwhelmed that they sat in silence for 7 days and 7 nights. Yet when they finally spoke, their words did not bring comfort but accusation, for they believed that suffering was always a result of sin, that God only punishes the wicked, and thus Job's affliction must be evidence of some hidden wrongdoing, leading Eliphaz to argue that Job must have committed iniquity and should seek repentance. Bildad to claim that Job's children must have died because of their own sins, and Zophar, the most ruthless of the 3, to insist that Job deserved even worse punishment than what he had already endured. But Job, though broken and in anguish, refused to accept their reasoning, maintaining that he had lived righteously and had done no wrong to warrant such suffering, leading him to lament the day of his birth, to cry out in desperation, questioning why the righteous suffer while the wicked prosper, struggling with the profound mystery of divine justice, pleading for an answer from the Almighty. And as the debate between Job and his friends intensified, a 4th voice emerged. Elihu, a younger man, who rebuked both Job and his friends, suggesting that suffering is not always a punishment, but sometimes a means of divine discipline and growth. But still, Job longed for a direct answer from God, and at last, in a moment of divine revelation, God spoke to Job from the heart of a whirlwind, not with explanations, but with a series of questions so powerful that they revealed the vastness of divine wisdom beyond human comprehension.